Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. And today we are going to be updating the tier list and we're gonna be ranking the new Haruhime and new Lily Ruka. Of course, on top of that, we will also be checking out the JP tier list and we're gonna see what the JP players think of the new Haruhime and Lily Ruka and where have they ranked them. Of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content, and let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys think about my ranking as well as the JP players ranking. Would you guys make any changes? What do you guys think about the new units? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Now, before we get to ranking the new units and doing some tier listing shenanigans, a couple of things I want to address, and actually one of the key things I want to address when it comes to this tier list and the changes I've made since the last time we did something like this is the fact that the rankings are going to be different. Instead of doing the S, A, B, C, and D system, we switched to the triple S, double S, S, A, and B system instead. Now, the reason for this is because this is the system that is adopted by the JP player base, and their tier list follows a triple S, double S, and S system basically. So instead of making it a lot more confusing when we're trying to compare my tier list to the Japanese tier list and trying to figure out like, oh, triple S means S, you know, S means B in my tier list and stuff like that, I've switched my tier list to follow their tier list instead. So we're now going to follow the triple S, double S, S, A, and B system. Now, that doesn't change anything in terms of what I think about the units and those specific tiers. For me, B is still bottom of the barrel. A is also very much like on the cusp of being bottom of the barrel. S is usable, double S definitely very much usable, and triple S are like the best units in the game, right? So that doesn't change anything in regards to that, of course. B doesn't become better all of a sudden. I'm not gonna lie, that I was a little bit worried that, you know, maybe people will think that B is good, and I will keep addressing this for the foreseeable future, but B for me is still like the lowest tier basically. There are so many better units that you can go for in S or above basically. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind and bear it in mind. Now let's talk about the first of the two new units, and we'll talk about the new adventure Dark Haruhime, considering we are on the adventure tier list. So Dark Haruhime is all the way at the bottom in B, but she will not remain there. Don't worry, she's just there as a placeholder. I by mistake put her into the tier list, and now when I was trying to figure out how to remove her, and I literally couldn't. I've been dragging her out, but she isn't getting dragged out. So I've decided, you know what? Forget it. I'll do it myself, and I'll just leave it in B for now, and then we'll take her higher. Because for me personally, I think Haruhime goes into double S for now. I think she is a very good unit, but I think she is very niche. In particularly, I think she's going to be very, very good with the dark eyes. I mean, as expected, she performs exceptionally well with dark eyes. And in fact, I've been hearing some murmurings that a stall team with this eyes has been able to beat most of the ladder. Now, I don't know the numbers or the percentage of win rate or whatever that is. I have no idea, but I've just been hearing some murmurs and talks about the dark eyes stall team with Haruhime being very, very strong in war games. So we'll have to wait and see when the new war game season comes around. We'll see how strong this duo is. Of course, on top of that, I do believe that if we are to get a further addition to the team, another dark unit potentially, right? I think that this team may potentially go up here, maybe, just maybe. But right now I would still put it in double S because I feel like they're very niche units. And even if you look at their kit and see, you know, especially Haruhime specifically, let's talk about Haruhime. We've already spoken about eyes multiple times, but Haruhime is a very decent support unit. I'm not denying that fact. She is a decent support unit, has the ability to provide elemental damage support, M-res down, dark res down, solid, right? But I feel like the numbers aren't significant enough, and also on top of that, a lot of it is attached to the additional actions as well, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel that that is a little bit of a limiting factor. The reason why I still believe Light Haruhime is just this high up is because of the SA gate chart supportability, the STR magic 120%, which is a much higher number than just the plain old 80% given by this Haruhime, because I've said this many a times, right? a lot of units already have like 60 to 70% elemental damage support to themselves, right? They already buff their elemental damage by 60 to 70%. That's only a 20% difference at most at that level, right? Whereas if you look at any other unit, right, some of them have like 80% magic or STR, 90% STR magic, or maybe even lower than that. Some have 60%. So having a unit like Haruhime who's giving 120% is far and away superior compared to Haruhime in my personal opinion. So the Dark Haruhime, that is. The 120% STR magic is far superior to the 80% elemental damage, alright? That's what I wanted to talk about. The Light Haruhime, ergo, is better than the Dark Haruhime. So for me personally, I'd still put Light Haruhime on top rank effectively when it comes to supportability and PvE content. That is not to say that the Dark Haruhime isn't a great option either. Being able to extend or, reduce, I should say, being able to reduce the opponent's status buffs and extend our own status, also reduce our status debuffs on our end is really solid, helps with survivability. But again, everything points towards this Dark Haruhime being more stall focused than anything else. I do think that she can perform to a solid extent in PvE as well, and potentially on other teams, but I think you're going to primarily run her in stall. So for me, I will put Dark Haruhime in double S for now. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the upcoming war games. Are people able to use her in many more teams? If people are, maybe we might push her into triple S, but for now, just because of how I perceive her to be a little bit niche and a little bit limited in terms of the team options, I think double S makes sense for me the most, in all honesty, when it comes to this Dark Haruhime. Now, let's move over to the assist side of things, and we're just middle of the page, basically. But let's go down. Of course, we do have the S plus rank here, as you can see right here. I'm still maintaining that. I don't think she'll go into S for now. Maybe towards the end of the anniversary, I might just push her down and we'll remove this S plus tier. But for now, she stays there. I really like that Lafia. Lily Ruka, and I mean, this is a very obvious one. I'm gonna put her alongside her best mates in Alan and Ryulu, the exact identical unit. In fact, a part of me, I'm not gonna lie, and you guys can let me know if you want me to do this, a part of me wanted to chuck Ryulu and Alan both down because they're A, time limited, and B, I do believe that Lily is a better option compared to Alan and Ryulu. Let me know in the comments, would you do that or not? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. But for now, just because of how similar they are and what they're able to do and everything, I will keep all three of them in triple S. Minus 20% agility units are hard to come by, of course, with Ryulu and Alan both being time limited. And then of course, Lily Ruka is the first non-time limited option that we have gotten that is minus 20% agility. So for me, it's a no-brainer to put them in triple S. Unbelievable units in PvP, I should say. So for me, I think it's an easy decision to put them in triple S, to be quite honest. I don't think I need to add any more here. I really do like this Lily Ruka. Honestly, the endurance down and dexterity down is very handy as well. And the instant effects, while the null ailments can be a little bit 50-50, if you can proc the instant effects, the HP heal to allies is a handy option nonetheless. It is a very, very handy option, and it just gives you a free heal when necessary, basically. So for me, I think I'm gonna put Lily at the top, at triple S, on top of Ryulu and Alan, personally, in my personal opinion. Now, let's take a look at the JP tier list and let's see what they have in store for us. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see because we did look at the JP tier list a couple of days ago when we were actually, discussing the skill sets of Haruhime and Lily Ruka and everything, right? And we were seeing where they were going to place the new Lily and Haruhime. And we saw that if we go over to the all list, not the adventure list, if we go over here, where is it? Am I blind? All character evaluation. There we go. I think we saw that they placed them in double S, if I'm not mistaken. Let me have a look and see. Yes. So Lily Ruka in PvP is double S, and PvB, which is player versus boss or Wreck-It Buster, it's B rank for them. And then of course Haruhime is double S and S. Now, I've noticed for when it comes to assists, they are a lot harsher than I am, to be quite honest, because I noticed that they only had like 6 units in triple S when it came to assists. Whereas for adventures, I think they were on par with me in terms of strictness. I think they only had like 7 to 10 units in triple S. I have like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 units, give or take, 13 or 14 units in triple S, versus their 10, which is about the same. And of course, their lists are sort of split up. Basically, they have one list for PvP and one list for PvP, so it makes sense that, you know, it's a lot more stricter in that regards. But nonetheless, it's evident that they think the same way I think about Haruhime and Lily Ruka. Well, little less for Lily Ruka, but they've still given her the double S, which I will take. Let's check out Haruhime first and foremost, and let's see what they have in store for us when it comes to what they think about their about Haruhime. What is their evaluation of this dark Haruhime? So let's see. Strengthen the endurance of allies and attack damage of all attributes with a quick move. Technique 1 or skill 1, Konon Raisen, has a buff that can strengthen the endurance of the party, which is through the physical and magic res, of course, right? And in addition to the dark attribute magic attack of the additional action, fire, water, lightning, earth, wind, light, and dark attribute attack damage to all allies is boosted. The main feature is that you can give a 50% increase among the buffs that can be granted. From this technique, power is the third number. Okay, power is the third number. So they're talking about the stats, basically. Power is the third number, magical power is the second number, and dex is the maximum, and P-res and M-res can be given at the same time. You can improve your power and endurance. I think they're talking about the allies buff on the first technique. Okay, so as of the 29th of July or June, sorry, 29th of June, the allies boost that she gives is the third highest in terms of STR. Magic power is the second highest, and dexterity is the maximum. So she gives the highest amount of dexterity to all allies through her first technique. And P-res and M-res can be given at the same time. True. You can improve your firepower and endurance. In particular, it is compatible with eyes in the part 1 of the 6th anniversary, so absolutely they think about that as well. And as an additional action, the magical res of all enemies is reduced by 40%, and the firepower of the main weapon technique of skill 2 can be extended further. So basically, skill 2 can help out with can be increased in power thanks to the reduction in magic res, of course, right? In addition, since you can give allies attack damage buffs for additional actions, it is also an option to send them to various magic parties. Therefore, in wargame type quests, emphasis will be placed on strengthening the possibility of repeatedly hitting skill 1. So they're basically saying here the emphasis will be to try and focus on getting skill 1 off as much as possible, which is possible by setting it to buff. If you set the AI to buff, Konon Rensen basically goes off again and again and again. If you want to check out how the settings work, go check out my Haruhime showcase. I go into more detail about testing the different AI settings and everything in that video. A slow magic attack can reduce allies' debuffs and enemies' buffs. So this is where they're talking about skill 2 being able to extend the opponent's, reduce the opponent's buffs and reduce allies' debuffs as well. So that's very, very handy, of course, right? It's a slow magic attack, so you'll want to pay attention to the timing of the activation depending on the party. Again, this is one of those things I mentioned is like, I don't like the fact that it's slow. I wish it was higher, but alas, it is what it is. The third skill, they're also saying it's like the lack of firepower is a concern. I didn't like her third skill, to be quite honest. I'm not a big fan of it. In fact, I think that's one of the limitations of her from going to triple S as well, because if you chuck her in front of a single target enemy, she ain't doing well, man. She ain't doing hot at all, to be quite honest. So I think it makes sense for them to have placed her in double S. For me personally, I am very curious to see how they perceive her afterwards. Actually, one of the things I want to check as well, right? I didn't need to go back to that page. 1 second. Let me go back here. Did they update eyes? No, it doesn't seem like they have. Bet hasn't been updated, Riveria hasn't been updated, Eyes hasn't been updated. So yeah, it doesn't seem like they've changed their minds on Eyes or Bet as well. So okay, that makes sense. But we'll see what they think about all these units post the wargame season coming up this week, of course. Let's check out Lily Ruka and their evaluation of her, because in my personal opinion, of course, I said that I think she is stronger than both Riolu and Alan. So let's see what they have to say for her. Festive Palom, Lily Ruka is an assist character that is characterized by the fact that it reduces agility of all enemies by 20% when limit broken to the maximum, so when at MLB, and the ability to grant null ailments to all allies from the quick response effect. First of all, the various 20% reduction debuffs that can be all given to all enemies is very good as an effect that can be given at the same time, because agility and dexterity are at the maximum and endurance is the next highest value. So basically reducing their agility, dexterity, and endurance, it's the highest that we've seen in a assist. In particular, the agility debuff, which is important in PvP battles, has the same value as time-limited characters Ryulu and Alan, so you can expect it to be active in both regular physical and magic formations. In addition, the Lily Ruka's immediate reaction effect is also very good. And in the current environment, as of 628, it will function as a countermeasure against the stun effect that Otaro, Hero Festa Otaro specifically, and others will set on the first turn. However, since it is a status null ailment effect from the immediate response effect, it is necessary to be a little bit careful about the opponent who requires an additional action and launches an attack from the second turn, so-called buff pursuit that grants status ailment. In addition, the number of instant effects reaction and the HP recovery effect is also a performance that can fully be demonstrated in PvP battles. So it's a good idea to secure this opportunity for those who don't have an agility debuff frame to increase the selection of formations in war games. So very similar thought process. They didn't specify if they thought she was better than Ryulu or Alan, but they got a lot of the points that I perceived about this Lily Ruka very much on the head, basically. The fact that, you know, agility debuffer, which is amazing for war games and being non-time limited compared to Ryulu and Alan, very, very important, right? Second of all, of course, the null ailments through instant effects is great, but at the same time, if the opponents are dealing their ailments through buffs or debuffs, it doesn't really pan out the same way, right? So it becomes a little bit of a problem. Also, the number of instant reaction effects is only limited to 4 and once per turn, so it becomes a little bit of a problem there. HP recovery effect is also very good is what they're saying. And then, yeah, they've just gone on to add that if you don't have an agility debuffer, it is phenomenal. But yes, I think I agree with them in terms of whatever they've said. I think the JP tier list is bang on, to be quite honest. I just don't agree with their ranking. I think, you know, when it comes to assists, they need to be a little bit more free when it comes to ranking these assists. You know, they've been placing these assists way too low in my personal opinion, because if you take a look at the assists, right, in Triple S they only have one Alan, Estrella, Seer, Ryulu, Elpis, and Ilya. Like, I mean, Lily should be in Triple S, because if Ryulu is there, why isn't this Lily Ruka or Alan in Triple S, right? So that's my personal pet peeve about the JP tier list. I feel like they're a little bit too stingy with giving certain rankings to certain player units, right? So in my personal opinion, great positioning, but could be a little bit better when it comes to the assist side of things. In regards to Haruhime, I think we both agree with where we placed her. Double S makes a lot of sense. I do think that we can perceive her to be stronger potentially down the line. But right now, I think with the position she's in, how good she can be in both PvE and PvP contents, I think Double S makes a lot of sense for me personally. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you guys agree with the tier list? Disagree with the tier list? Where would you guys place these units? Now, of course, remember that this tier list video will only happen now, probably after the events of part 2. We might do a live stream in between. I've been wanting to do a live stream of me going over my tier list and seeing where you guys would place these units, and maybe if you guys would like to see any changes happening. I need to get around to organizing it, but that will happen before part 2, I'm pretty sure. But yes, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.